My life abroad, my bachelor life. For years, I, Jake Sullivan, an American through and through, have been enjoying the charms of European living. And the main one of these charms is my lovely girlfriend, Nicole. Who would have thought that an ordinary trip to Prague would turn into a meeting with this fiery French woman who would make my head spin faster than a pint of excellent Czech beer? Nicole and I have been living in perfect harmony for a year now in my cozy den on the outskirts of Berlin. I work remotely for an American IT company. She's learning German and has a side job in a flower shop. In the evenings, we explore the mysterious German cuisine together and suffer crushing defeats in it. And on weekends, we drive around the picturesque surroundings in my old minivan. Life is definitely good. Recently, we decided it was about time to make our relationship official. No, not the way you think. Stamps in our passports can wait. But a residence permit for Nicole wouldn't hurt. So that, no migration service can separate two loving hearts. And stable insurance will also come in handy. God protects the careful, and Nicole protects the uninsured twice as much. So for the last couple of weeks, my sweetheart and I have been collecting documents, filling out forms, and breaking our tongues over the quirky German phrases in the official papers. Of course, I mostly provide moral support, while Nicole is the brain of the process. Who would doubt it, with her determination and ability to charm bureaucrats? Soon we'll have the coveted residence permit in our hands, and then watch out, Europe. The American-French landing forces will finally settle on your expanses. The only thing slightly clouding our idyll is Nicole's increasing overtime and her staying out late. Of course, I understand everything: integration, assimilation, professional development, but not to the point where my lasagna, the only dish I manage to master, gets cold time after time. Just kidding, of course. Nicole and I trust each other 100%. After all, without trust, you can't build any joint plans, right? I don't know what came over me that fateful evening. Maybe it was the fatigue after a long workday. Maybe it was the notorious syndrome of looking for trouble. Or maybe I was just curious about who Nicole was, so enthusiastically texting while I was here. Making dinner for her and keeping the apartment tidy. In general, as soon as Nicole went to the bathroom, I, like some schoolboy, grabbed her phone and started exploring her chats. At first, everything was proper and noble. Girlfriends, colleagues, relatives, discussions of outfits, weekend plans, and the latest gossip. Nothing criminal. But then I stumbled upon a conversation with a certain Michael, and here, let me tell you, my eyebrows slowly crept up. Missing your kisses. Can't wait for our next meeting. You're the best lover in the world. What kind of Romeo had turned up to trouble me? It got worse. A couple more chats in the same vein, only with different addressees. Chris, Alex, John. She's got a whole bouquet of virtual admirers here, and naive me, thinking we had love till the grave and eternal fidelity. So much for trust but verify. I sat there, stupidly staring at the phone screen, feeling some kind of poisonous cocktail of resentment, anger, and distrust boiling up inside me. I wanted to simultaneously burst into tears like a child, smash something heavy, and give Nicole the third degree, but instead, I just sat there, gawking at the damn phone as if expecting it to give me answers to all my questions. That's how Nicole found me when she returned from the bathroom. Seeing her phone in my hands and my distorted face, she immediately understood everything. "Darling, I can explain everything," she began, but I was no longer listening. Something seemed to click in my head, and the accumulated emotions burst out in a furious stream. "Explain? What are you going to explain to me, dear?" I hissed through my teeth, feeling my jaw muscles twitching. "That while I'm here slaving away to provide us with a decent life, you're having fun with virtual lovers? Or that all these Michaels and whatnot are just friends and I'm hysterical and paranoid?" Nicole stared at me with wide-open eyes, in which fear and guilt swirled. She tried to say something, but I didn't let her get a word in. I went off. I really loved you, trusted you, made plans for our future together, and it turns out you've been leading me by the nose all this time? And with whom? With some virtual fops you haven't even seen in person. Or have you? Maybe you're sleeping with them too, while I'm at work earning our bread. I almost shouted the last words. Rage mixed with the pain of betrayal was seething in my chest. How could she do this to me? Why? What did I do to deserve this? "Jake, please, listen to me." Nicole pleaded, and I saw tears in her eyes. It's not what you think. Yes, I text with other men, but it doesn't mean anything. It's just a game, flirting, nothing serious. You're the only one I love. Seriously? Was that supposed to calm me down? Laughing helplessly, I slid down the wall to the floor. My head was spinning from conflicting emotions. I wanted to either get drunk into oblivion or go punch the faces of all those virtual Don Juans. Get out, I said hollowly, not looking at Nicole. Get out before I do something stupid. I need to be alone and think about what to do with our relationship, if there's anything left of it, of course. Nicole sobbed, but obediently got up and left the room. A minute later, the front door slammed, and I was left alone with my pain and doubts. The next few hours blurred into one endless stream of gloomy thoughts. I sat there staring at one spot, turning over options in my head. Forgive and forget? Too easy. And I wouldn't be able to look at her the same way now anyway. Break up the relationship to hell? Tempting, but something inside me resisted it. Maybe I should give her a second chance. Talk frankly, set boundaries, try to understand and accept. But the more I thought about it, the clearer I realized that trust had evaporated. No matter how hard I tried, I wouldn't be able to perceive Nicole as anything other than a liar and a cheater now. And even if she was physically faithful to me, the very fact of such chats already seemed like a betrayal. And then it hit me. What if I taught her a lesson? Showed her what happens when you deceive someone who trusted you? Of course, I wasn't going to stoop to her level and start affairs on the side, but I had something better. Something that would destroy her dreams of a cozy nest in Europe. Oh yes, revenge is a dish best served cold. And I knew a great recipe. The morning greeted me with the silence of an empty apartment and a dull pain in my temples. No wonder, considering how much I drank last night trying to drown out the pain of betrayal. Somehow, getting up from the couch where I'd fallen asleep at night, I stumbled to the bathroom. The mirror reflected a puffy, unshaven face with red eyes. Yeah, I've looked better. Having put myself in relative order, I headed to the kitchen and found a note from Nicole there. In it, she apologized, begged for forgiveness, and asked for a chance to explain everything. She promised that nothing like this would ever happen again, and swore eternal love and loyalty. Crumpling the paper, I tossed it in the trash. Too late, darling. The train has left. The sediment remains. Eating the remnants of yesterday's lasagna for breakfast, I pondered my brilliant plan. I had to act quickly and decisively before Nicole suspected something was wrong. Smirking at my reflection in the coffee mug, I dialed the insurance company's number. Good morning. I'd like to cancel the automatic renewal of the insurance policy in the name of Nicole Dubois, I said in the most amiable tone I could muster. Yes, that's right. The client no longer needs your company's services. No complaints. Just a change in life circumstances. Yes, of course. Thank you for understanding. Hanging up, I leaned back in my chair, feeling some grim satisfaction. Step one done. Of course, Nicole doesn't know yet that she's left without health insurance, and that it automatically negates all her hopes of getting a residence permit. But soon, very soon, the truth will come out, and then we'll talk differently, dear. I imagined how surprised she would be when her residence permit was denied, how she would start finding out the reasons and discover that I, her only hope and support, had let her down at the most critical moment. What would she do? Beg me to change my mind? Promise to never look at other men again? Or throw a tantrum and accuse me of all mortal sins? These thoughts filled me with a kind of malicious warmth. For the first time in the last day, I felt like I was in control of the situation again, that I wasn't just a victim of circumstances, but the master of my own destiny. And the fate of my lying girlfriend was now in my hands too. Finishing my coffee, I realized that a storm was about to break out soon, that Nicole was unlikely to just let it slide. But that would be her problem. And I would just make sure she got what she deserved. And let it be petty and unworthy of a real man. But damn, it feels good. It didn't take a week for hell to break loose. Nicole rushed home all in tears, waving some papers and choking with indignation. It turned out her application for residence permit was rejected due to the lack of health insurance. Who would have thought, right? Jake, you won't believe what happened, she wailed, pacing the living room. They denied my residence permit, said I don't have insurance. Can you imagine? But that can't be. You renewed it yourself a couple of months ago. I sat in the armchair, feigning genuine surprise and sympathy. That can't be, honey. Surely it's some kind of mistake. You know how these bureaucrats love to complicate everything. Let me call the insurance company myself and sort it out. With those words, I retreated to the kitchen, carefully hiding my smirk. Of course, I wasn't going to call anywhere. I just needed to give Nicole a chance to stew in her own juice and feel the full horror of the situation. Returning to the living room with the most funereal expression on my face, I heavily sank into the armchair. You won't believe it, sweetheart. Turns out your insurance was canceled. And you know, at whose request? Mine. Terrible, right? Apparently I messed something up last time when I was renewing the policy. What a bummer. Nicole stared at me, her mouth agape, shock, disbelief, and fear. Yes, definitely fear. Fear of being left with nothing. Fear of losing everything she had been striving for. Jake, but how? She stammered. You promised that everything would be fine with the insurance. I was counting on you, on your help. What am I going to do now? I shrugged, carefully portraying sincere regret. I don't even know, honey. Looks like you won't be able to get a residence permit now, which means sooner or later you'll have to go back home to France. Unless, of course, you find another way to legalize your stay here. And then Nicole burst. She screamed, cried, begged me to fix everything. Said she couldn't leave, not now when everything was so good between us, that she loved me and wanted to be with me no matter what. But all her words sounded like hypocritical lies to me. Now I saw right through her. She had never truly loved me. I was just a means for her to achieve her goal, to settle in Europe. And all those chats, confessions, vows of eternal love, just a cheap spectacle to keep me on the hook. Watching her sob at my feet, clinging to my knees, I suddenly felt emptiness. No gloating, no pity, nothing. As if all my feelings for her had evaporated, leaving behind only the bitter ashes of disappointment. I'm sorry, Nicole, but I can't help you, I said dispassionately. You ruined everything yourself when you decided you could twist me around your little finger, that I would wait for you forever, turning a blind eye to your escapades. Well, you were wrong, very wrong. With those words, I stood up, carefully unhooked her fingers from my pants, and headed for the exit. You can stay here until you find another place to live, but keep in mind, I won't pay for you anymore, nor will I renew your insurance. So think hard about what's more important to you, illusory romances or real life, and I have to go. Good luck, Nicole. You're going to need it. The last thing I saw before closing the door behind me was her tear-swollen face and eyes full of despair. For a second, I almost felt sorry for her, but then I remembered everything she had put me through, and the pity vanished without a trace. Stepping out into the street, I took a deep breath of the cool evening air. For the first time in a long while, I felt free. Free from lies, from doubts, from meaningless hopes. Yes, I was hurt. Yes, I was betrayed and deceived. But I'll manage. After all, I'm the damn Jake Sullivan. I'll survive this and more. As for Nicole, well, she got what she deserved. Maybe it will teach her that you can't play with other people's feelings, and that everything in this life has to be paid for. Smirking at my thoughts, I headed down the street towards a new life. A life where there would be no place for lies and betrayal. At least I very much hope so. Did you like this story? Let us know in the comments what you liked. Subscribe to our storytelling podcast. Also, don't forget to like and ring the bell so you don't miss more interesting stories. See you soon.